So, good morning everyone. Today I will talk about the cerebrospinal fluid, that is CSF. So, it's a very important topic and very important fluid because in day-to-day life you get to hear about that is lumbar puncture, hydrocephalus and ventriculography, that is all related to CSF. So, I will discuss all these three clinical topics later on. So, before starting the topic, I have made a beautiful and simpler diagram to make you understand where is CSF located. So as you can see in this diagram, this is the brain, this is the vertebral body, this black one is the spinal cord. Between the vertebral bodies, this is sacrum. So generally CSF fills the subarachnoid space, which I will show you in the next diagram, and it extends into the ventricles. So this blue is the ventricles, and it also fills the central canal of the spinal cord. So this whole blue is the CSF, as you can see in this diagram. Clear? Now coming to the characteristic features of the CSF. The total volume of the CSF is 140 ml, out of which 25 ml is in the ventricles. So total volume is 140 ml, out of which 25 ml is in the ventricles. The daily production of the CSF is 1500 ml. It means it is constantly replaced. It gets changed every day. Clear? Then the third is specific gravity of the CSF. It is 1.003 to 1.008. And the last is glucose level of CSF is half of that in the blood. So glucose level of CSF is half of the blood. Clear? Now I will talk about the site of production, function of CSF and the circulation of CSF and clinical aspect. So as I have discussed earlier about the CSF fills the subarachnoid space, extend into the ventricles and also the central canal of the spinal cord. So this is this subarachnoid space which I was talking about, this purple one. Clear? Now coming to the site of production of CSF. The choroid plexus of the ventricles of the brain secrete the CSF. So this is the choroid plexus, this red one. This secretes the CSF. Now coming to the circulation of the CSF. The lateral ventricles, each lateral ventricle of the brain secretes the CSF. So this is the sagittal section which I have made. So on both sides, the lateral ventricles of the brain secretes the CSF. From the lateral ventricles, it goes into the third ventricle. So this is the lateral ventricle, this is the third ventricle, and this is the interventricular foramen. From interventricular foramen, the CSF goes from lateral ventricle to third ventricle. From the third ventricle, it goes into the fourth ventricle. So this is the fourth ventricle, and it goes through the aqueduct. This is the aqueduct. Clear? Lateral ventricle, interventricular foramen, third ventricle, aqueduct, and this is the fourth ventricle. From the fourth ventricle, the CSF passes through the medial and the lateral apertures in the roof of the ventricle. So this is the roof of the ventricle. From here, it enters into the subarachnoid space. So this is the subarachnoid space. It goes like this, then goes upward to the subarachnoid space. From here, it goes all to the subarachnoid space. And this is the site of absorption of CSF, that is arachnoid granulation. These two are the points where CSF get absorbed. Clear? Now coming to the function of CSF. CSF provides a fluid cushion to the brain, which helps the brain to protect from the injury. It also helps in providing the nutrition to the brain and carry the nutrition to the brain, and also removes the waste product from the brain. So these are the two main functions of the CSF. And one important point, the epithelium and the other tissues of the choroid plexus forms an effective barrier between the blood and the CSF, which allows the selective passage of substances from the blood to the CSF, but not in the reverse direction. Clear? Now I will talk about the last clinical importance of the CSF. The first condition is hydrocephalus. Abnormal increase in the quantity of the CSF can lead to enlargement of the head in children. This condition is known as hydrocephalus. This abnormal enlargement of the CSF, abnormal increase in the quantity of CSF, can lead to degeneration of the brain. This is caused by the excessive production of the CSF, obstruction to its flow, or by the impaired absorption. Clear? It is classified as obstructive when the CSF has to pass through the narrow passages, that is through the interventricular foramen, through the aqueduct and the apertures of the fourth ventricles. Clear? So this is all about the hydrocephalus. Now coming to the second condition. The second condition is called ventriculography. That is, the ventricles of the brain can be studied in the living objects by taking radiograph after injecting a dye, or you can say radio-opaque dye, into the ventricular system. So this procedure is called ventriculography. It is mainly used in children if there is a clinical condition known as hydrocephalus, which I have discussed earlier, or parts of the ventricle can also be seen using the CT scan or the MRI scans. Clear? And the last I will talk about the lumbar puncture, very important technique used in day-to-day life, day-to-day clinical practice. So the last, lumbar puncture. Samples of CSF are often required to detect the clinical diagnosis, like in case of meningitis, TB of the brain, and other clinical procedure. So in this case, the samples are obtained by the technique called as lumbar puncture. In this procedure, a needle is introduced into the subarachnoid space through the interval between the third and the fourth lumbar vertebra. Third and the fourth lumbar vertebra. A needle is introduced into the subarachnoid space and the CSF fluid is collected from here. Clear? So this site is also used as to inject the anesthetic agent to do the surgical operations, like in delivery of the baby, like doing the lower limb procedure, lower limb surgery. So this is a very important site to collect the CSF and to inject the anesthetic agent. So this is all about the CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid. So do like, subscribe and comment how you like the video. Take care. Thank you.